Good morning. Oh, that sounded great. Good morning. So nice to see all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on this glorious spring Mother's Day. What a lovely, lovely day. It's a complicated day. It's a complicated day. We've got Mother's Day going on. And we also have and Mother's Day is complicated all in itself. And we also have the anniversary of the racist shootings at Tops in our community last year. And so it is a complicated and difficult day. It is good that we have gathered here, bringing our spirits together to reflect upon this complicated day together and face the difficulties that it presents and the celebrations that it presents of accomplishments and also of creativity, because if motherhood is anything, it must be creative. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. My name is Joan Montagnes, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving you, this congregation, as minister. I am so lucky. We're blessed to be here together. We're blessed to be here together, and we acknowledge that the land upon which we meet rests within the territory of the Seneca Nation, a member of the Haudenosaunee Six Nations Confederacy. This land is covered by the 1794 Treaty of Canandaigua between the United States government and the Six Nations Confederacy. And this treaty affirmed Haudenosaunee land rights and sovereignty in the state of New York. Today, this region continues to be home to many Indigenous people. May we remember our promises and commit to sharing this land mindfully and respectfully so our community can become a safe community for all who live here. One announcement outside of those nice printed announcements that you have: the grief group will meet today in the Gardner room next to the kitchen from noon to 1. So if you need to figure out where the Marge Gardner room is, and you feel today is filled with grief, which it is, feel free to ask anybody where the Marge Gardner room is, because it is our church's best kept secret. See, Bonnie Collins she's our point person on this there. Can we, oh, there she is, raising herself. There we go, that's Bonnie Collins. She will be your facilitator for that, and all are welcome. So welcome, everybody. So good to have you here this morning gathered. All the things you see in our announcements are ways that we unveil the bonds that bind each to all. We build community, we greet each other, we share, we break bread together, we learn together, and one of the things we do to create relationship, deepen relationship, broaden relationship is greet our neighbors. So take this time now to say hello to someone you might not even know.
that too high? Is that too high? A church mission statement describes the congregation's purpose and calling. We enter into worship this morning with a responsive reading of our mission statement. It's on an extra sheet of paper in your order of service. I'll read the plain text while you will read the italicized text. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo
is a passionate, thoughtful, and diverse religious community that nurtures and challenges itself to deeper understanding, meaning, and purpose.
We gather
Through worship, music, education, intersectional ministries, and service.
we inspire each other.
In love and mutual respect to further our individual and collective spiritual journey.
We transform.
For our combined talents and in coalition with other progressive organizations in service to anti-racism, anti-oppressive movements.
Please rise and join in our chalice lighting.
We gather in loving community, creating a shared vision of compassion and dignity for all to radically transform the world in which we live. And we ask that you remain standing as you are able and as we sing hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Power of
it's time for the story. Kids want to come forward? Come to me, little children. Come on down. Come on. There we go. Once upon a time, in a grimy, gritty, gray city, there was a little girl named Mira. And Mira loved to doodle, draw, color, and paint. Every time she saw a blank piece of paper, she looked at it and said, maybe. And because of this, her whole room was full of color and her heart was full of joy. Yeah. Wow, that's fun. So Mira, one day on the way to school, she gave a crayoned red round apple to Mr. Henry, who ran the store down the street. She gave a pastel drawing of a flower to Mrs. Lopez, the woman with the sparkly eyes. She gave a watercolor painted bird to Mr. Sachs, and a red construction paper heart to the policeman who walked up and down the street. On her way home from school, she took a magic marker, bright yellow sun, and she taped it onto a gray, blank, boring wall. Her city looked a little bit more colorful, but not much. Well, the next day, Mira was walking to school, and there was a man looking at her bright yellow sun taped to that boring old gray wall. Said the man. What do you see? Asked Mira. Maybe, said the man, maybe something beautiful. And with that, he pulled out from his back pocket a paintbrush. He had a whole stack of them in his back pocket. He pulled it out, dipped it in some paint, and bam, pow! The grime and grit scurried away. Sky blue burst through the gloom, and his laughter was like the colors of rainbow. Who are you? Said Mira. I'm an artist, said the man. I'm a muralist. I paint big pictures on walls. I'm an artist too, said Mira. I'm an artist too. And he said, well, come on. And he gave her a paintbrush. And zoom! The yellow sunshine of her loudest color she could find just broke through and changed the wall completely. Yes. The man drew lines on the big wall, and Mira filled them in with color, punch, and pizzazz. Soon Mr. Sachs joined in, and others came in too. The man and Mira handed out paintbrushes all over the place. People started joining and painting with the rhythm that they had. They painted with the salsa, they painted with merengue, they painted with hip hop, and they kept going until there was a big block party going on. Everybody was painting away everywhere they went. Art followed like a tail of a kite. It was so beautiful. And they ran out of wall space. So what did they do? They started painting the utility boxes and the park benches. They decorated the sidewalk with poetry and sunshine. They kept going. It was a big block party until the policeman came by. The music stopped. Mira put down her paintbrush. Uh-oh, surely they were in trouble now. Excuse me, said the policeman. I was wondering if I could paint too. They handed out more paintbrushes. Teachers joined in, babies, everybody was in there having dancing to the rhythm of the paint that was going on. It was wonderful, and near the end of the day, everyone was exhausted. They were covered in splotches and dots of a million different colors. They looked beautiful. And they had created something more beautiful than they could have ever imagined. Everybody sat down and took a breather, except for the muralist. And he said, "My friends, you are all artists. The world is your canvas." And as people moved along and headed home, Mira painted one last bird in the sky. And she looked at it and said, "Maybe, just maybe."
Please join in singing our children to their classes. Every week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are supporting the good work of the Providence Farm Collective. And here with us today is Kristen Weiss and Mo Burwa to tell us about it.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Say Happy Mother's Day today, and I'm really happy to be here today. Touch the basic about how Providence Farm started. Providence Farm Collective started with the Somali Bantu Community Organization in Buffalo. Where we having our after school program. And as we know, when we come in here in this country, we don't know where to go. We just only know resettlement agency. And resettlement agency, they just handle you just only for 3 months, for 90 days. And after that, they say, this is the city of Buffalo, so find a way to go. And was really difficult for us. And when you come in this country, and when you see for the level of education, they go by the age. They are not going by level for your education you have. So our kids, they go to school, they just go for the school, but they are not really getting anything from there. So you are in 12th grade, and your level education is 7th grade or maybe 6th grade, which is really difficult in this country. So after that, as a community, we decided to start our after-school program, which we could help our kids, asking other students coming from Duvie College, Canisius College, and what were the other schools? Diamond College, yes. So after that, they just come over with helping us, our kid, to improve their education. The end of the year in 2017, we meet with our miracle mother, who is here. She's a really miracle. I may say that a volunteer is really good things to everyone. For one good word could save almost like 100 people. So I talked to her. I said, Kristen, we are really suffering here. And our elder in the community and the other people, when they go to the supermarket, they cannot find the food or maybe the vegetable they used to buy back home, they cannot find it here. So we are in this country almost 17 or maybe 10 years, we cannot find a land for farming, and we're looking someone to be in our board, showing us the city, because the agency, the resettlement agency, they just only give us only for 3 months, and then they say, hey, this is the city of Buffalo. So we need somebody who could help us and showing where we could go and where we could talk to the people that could help us. And she didn't say anything from there. She took my contact information, and after a few weeks, and then she emailed me, she said, hey, Mo, I find something that could make you guys happy. But she didn't tell me that she could be like in our board, but she told me that she found something that you could make you happy. I said, thanks, Kristen, and she invited me with the other community members to her house. We went over there almost like 3 van people, was almost like 20 people to her house. She said, hey, Mo, I find somewhere you could start farming. And I'm ready to support you guys, whatever you need me. I said, okay, and we are really happy if you give her this chance. That's how 2017, the end of May, that's the Somali Bantu started farming at East Aurora. In 2019, Kristen, with her investigation, see the city of Buffalo, we have a lot of immigrant and refugee who are sitting in Buffalo. They needed the work that we are doing as we are doing to the farm. And she asked me, Mo, I think we should be bring more people to the farm, but we have to be forming a name that we could welcome to all immigrant and refugee who are living in the city of Buffalo. And then I say, that would be great, because there's a lot of people also, they need what we are doing here. That's how we come up with the name of Providence Farm Collective, that bring more immigrant and refugee to farm with us. So right now, we are almost like 9 community who are farming. We have Somali Bantu, Burundi, Liberia, Congolese, Ethiopian. They are also farming with us today. So that's mean when you do something as a volunteer, could help a lot of people who are in need in the city. There's a lot of people suffering in the city, but they don't know where to go, because this is where we're coming from, and the city of Buffalo, it is to think different. So when you come here, if you don't have somebody who guide you, you could lose in the city of Buffalo. So I may say thank you for everyone to listen to me. And I'm gonna give a chance to Kristen to talk about PFC, how we're running about PFC right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. So a quick hi to Liz and Bill over there. I haven't seen you guys in a while. So thank you all for having us. I just want to build on what Mo said. First of all, visit our website, providencefarmcollective.org. We do so much, and I invite you to attend a tour. I believe it's June 3rd with Maria Testa. She's organizing that. Please see her about that. Last year on May 14th, I was at the farm. Hamadi Ali and I were being interviewed by Mark Summer at the time when the call came to Mark that the shooting had happened at Tops on the east side. One of our farming communities, Buffalo Go Green, Allison DeHoney, her farm, her urban farm, is just 2 blocks from that site. Many in our community shop at that Tops. We were panicked. And it took me back to when I actually wrote the first grant for the Somali Bantu Community Farm, in which the Somali Bantu Farm became part of a cohort of 13 food system organizations in Western New York brought together to work to address food insecurity in our region. And it is those grim statistics that have held in our community for decades now that brought that killer to our community. And to me, that's not okay. And after the blizzard this past year too, when so many places where people access food were looted and shut down, we're set back even a little bit farther. So when I am so encouraged by your question this month about thinking about creativity, and I think about Providence Farm Collective is a creative solution. It's a diversity of people coming together. It's people of privilege like me in our community who are stewarding, because it is not my intention to lead this organization forever. It is my intention to help share my resources, my network, and build the greater community in Western New York so nobody has to have difficulty accessing fresh food. At Providence Farm Collective, our vision is empowering just and equitable access to food and farmland, and that's what I want to invite you to come see on June 3rd. And you don't have to support Providence Farm Collective, but I am imploring you to support one of these wonderful grassroots organizations that we partner with across the region that is building community and connection among all of us. So listen to what really speaks to your heart and get involved, because we need to start taking down these walls that we have across Buffalo and across our region, and really leading with love and creativity. And thank you so much for your time this morning. So thank you.
Thank you so much. To support our Share the Plate ministry, you can drop a check or cash in the offering plate. You can use PayPal by going to our website. You can send a check to the church through the mail, or you can arrange a regular automatic deposit with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write SHARE on the memo line, and it will be shared between Providence Farm Collective and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write Pledge 2023 on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line. Let's plant creativity and generosity, harvest justice.
Sorry, I know not
1 year ago today, a young white man drove more than 200 miles from his home to the heart of our community. He chose his destination deliberately. He chose the zip code with the highest density of African Americans that he could reach in a single day. And because it was Saturday afternoon, he figured that everyone on Buffalo's east side would be at the only grocery store in their neighborhood, stocking up for the week's meals and weekend get-togethers, as we do. This young white man drove all the way from his home, more than 200 miles away, directly to Tops Friendly Market on Jefferson Avenue, and we all know what happened next. He opened fire and deliberately murdered and injured our neighbors, our elders, because of the color of their skin in a racist act of domestic violence. 1 year ago today, we were reminded in the worst possible way of the terrible cost of systematic racism and permissive gun laws. Our city was redesigned 150 years ago by a white abolitionist who created beautiful parks. Frederick Law Olmsted, many of you have heard of him. This is what I call the not news but context section. He designed our city as a network of beautiful tree-lined boulevards, roundabouts, and public green spaces for all residents, friends, families, and neighbors of all ages to mix, mingle, and enjoy for health, happiness of body and spirit. Olmsted strove to create a city that was, in its fabric, democratic and egalitarian. And our city, though of course never completely or anything approaching anti-racist or anti-oppressive or multicultural, began to live into its design. So shortly after Olmsted created our network of urban parklands, African Americans from southern states were moving north in unprecedented numbers toward job opportunities in the manufacturing sector and to escape overt racism of Jim Crow laws in what is known as the Great Migration. Unfortunately, the job market, the manufacturing job market in Buffalo began to dry up, which meant that Black families that had just arrived with little or no generational wealth weren't going to earn wealth to pass on to future generations, which meant that a new level of poverty hit our city, primarily in the African American community. Not only did the job market in our city dry up, although overt Jim Crow laws never extended to New York State, systematic racism certainly did. The city planners of the 1950s, well, they took to redesigning our city again. They were white men of their time, and they catered to the needs of people like themselves with families like their own. Families with enough accumulated wealth to afford homes in the suburbs, white World War II veterans who received GI housing stipends, which they were not afforded to their Black comrades in arms, suburban commuters who worked downtown and commuted back up to the suburbs. These were the families and the people who the city planners were catering to. Now, without gathering community input, without gathering input certainly from diverse communities in Buffalo, without considering the values of equity and inclusion, city planners made decisions which deeply affect us today. They tore through Olmsted's tree-lined Humboldt Parkway, the parkway that ran through relatively integrated neighborhoods to install a concrete barrier that we now know as the Kensington Expressway, in hopes that this adjustment to traffic flow would keep the city of Buffalo viable. The result of this decision, though, was tragic. The decision to redesign Buffalo, a Buffalo not shot through with common green spaces and parkways, but shot through with roadways exiting the city, ultimately enabled white flight and created a zip code between Main Street and the Kensington Expressway that was an island of disenfranchised, underserved African American residents, and a target for white supremacists everywhere. Buffalo is one of the poorest cities in the country. Nearly half of our children live in poverty. But the hardships that define our city, they're not evenly distributed. A disproportionate number of the have-nots live on our east side. But you already know all this, right? And you also already know that 1 year ago today, a racist gunman targeted Tops Friendly Market on Jefferson Avenue because, thanks to racist systems of food apartheid, which we heard about and Kristen alluded to earlier, thanks to racist systems of food apartheid, Tops was the only supermarket in that East Side zip code. The murderer may not have been from Buffalo, but we, in this grimy, gritty, gray city, we created and have condoned all the conditions to welcome him in.
Divine Spirit, universal love, source of all wisdom and strength, we come before you, bearing our hearts and minds open, seeking ancient wisdom as we endeavor to be courageous advocates for peace and justice in a world plagued by violence. Inspire us to engage in anti-violence, theological practices that honor the interconnectedness of all life and uphold the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We pray for those who have lost loved ones to the senseless brutality that shatters lives and communities. May we find solace in your embrace as we hold each other more closely and tightly in our sorrow. May their hearts be comforted by the knowledge that they are not alone in their grief. We are here witnessing and steadfast in hope. Help us, O Spirit of life, to be compassionate companions to the bereaved, offering support and understanding in their time of need. As we hold our political leaders accountable for their actions and inaction, grant us the wisdom to discern the path toward a more just and peaceful society. Empower us to be agents of change, tirelessly advocating for policies that promote safety, understanding, and healing for all. Diligently doing the part of the work that is ours to do, and creating strong foundations to ease tomorrow's task. Strengthen our resolve, source of all wisdom, as we strive to dismantle systems of oppression and violence that permeate our world. Nurture within us a spirit of empathy and compassion so that we may stand in solidarity as one with those who suffer and work together to build a future free from the devastating effects of violence. May our collective efforts bear the fruits of peace, justice, and love, creating a garden where all can thrive. By the life-affirming waters of your divine grace, in your many names and the spirit of universal love we pray. Amen.
Today we gather as a faith community in memory, caring, accountability, and hope. Compassionate, thoughtful, diverse. We gather to challenge ourselves to find deeper understanding. We gather to do the hard work of facing difficult realities. We gather to hold this space as we try to make meaning of our history so we can work for peace and justice in the present day. We gather to remember the names and lives lost 1 year ago, lest we forget.
Celestine Cheney,
65 years old.
Went with her sister to the supermarket to get strawberries for strawberry shortcake.
Roberta Drury,
32 years old.
Always made the whole room smile and laugh.
Catherine Cat Macy.
72 years old.
A powerful advocate for civil rights, education, and gun control.
Deacon Hayward Patterson.
67 years old.
A man with a good heart and spirit who frequently gave people rides to the supermarket and helped them carry their groceries.
Aaron Salter.
55 years old.
Recently retired Buffalo police officer working as a security guard at the supermarket. Salter selflessly entered the market during the attack to protect the people of his community.
Pearl Young.
77 years old.
Ran a food pantry in the Central Park neighborhood for 25 years. She loved singing, dancing, her church, and her family.
Ruth Whitfield.
86 years old.
A mother to the motherless who loved her God.
Margus Morrison.
52 years old.
A father, a school bus aide, and a Bills fan who would do anything for anyone.
Andre McNeil.
53 years old.
Came from out of town to visit relatives. He went to the supermarket to pick up a surprise birthday cake for his grandson.
Geraldine Talley.
62 years old.
A sister, mother, and aunt who loved spending time with family, sitting by the water and baking.
In the days following the May 14th tragedy, Buffalo Poet Laureate Jillian Hainsworth shared her poem, Water, with the following message. In memory of the 10 lives tragically stolen on May 14th, 2022, may we live, create, and fight in your honor. Water by Jillian Hainsworth. Let the hopeful, healing waters flow, ushering in a rebirth of our sense of self. Let the flowing waters remind us of time, current yet fleeting, like life itself, large yet within reach, just as the ancestors. Let the hopeful, healing waters flow, cleansing all pain and fear, all hurt and regret. Let the water heal our people, reminding us that even our small marks on this huge world are necessary. Let the hopeful, healing waters flow. Let the water tell the stories of those that came before us, those who fought and believed for us, those with the strength and power of a high tide, those with the meekness of a still pond. Let the beauty of the unknown offer comfort and hope, for within water there will always be life.
Let's join in singing hymn number 199 in your gray hymnal, Precious Lord. Each of those slain in the attack and each of those wounded, Zaire Goodman, Jennifer Warrington, and Christopher Braden, and all their friends and families are forever changed by the events that took place 1 year ago. All those who were at Tops that day are on Jefferson Avenue are forever changed by the events of 1 year ago today. If we who gather here, we who are called to inspire each other in love and mutual respect to further our individual and collective spiritual journey. If we who are called to transform ourselves and our world through our combined talents and in coalition with other progressive organizations in service to anti-racist, anti-oppressive movements, if we who gather here this morning are not also forever changed by what happened 1 year ago, then we fail in our mission of people of faith. Let us gather together. Let us inspire one another and creatively transform our gritty, grimy, gray city. Let's make a commitment to actively dismantle systems of white privilege and white supremacy. Let's re-green this city with parks and trees, heal the concrete gashes and barriers. Let's hand out paintbrushes to everyone. Begin painting blank walls and weather-beaten benches with the loudest colors we can find, decorating sidewalks with poetry and sunshine, linking people together in a citywide block party until every heart sees the possibility of maybe something beautiful, and every heart is full of joy. The world is our canvas. Together, we can create something more beautiful than any of us have ever imagined. Oh, am I doing that? Yes. Okay. Cast of Thousands. Let It Be Done by Monica Cummings. Keep us mindful that we are all related, that when one of us is ignored and treated with dis-ease, we all suffer. Today, let us each commit to welcome the stranger. Let us move beyond our comfort zones and connect with people labeled different and pushed to the edge of society. We can make a difference. We can transform lives. We can bring harmony and healing to the places and spaces where we live, work, and play. Let us keep our hearts and minds open and receptive to the still, small voice that calls us to stand witness for those who cannot stand, to speak truth for justice for those without a voice, and to lead the way on the journey toward wholeness for those without sight. In the spirit of love, compassion, and community, let it be done. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. Let's join in singing. Hymn 1017 in your teal hymnal, We Are Building a New Way.
As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
The words of Reverend Bill Sinkford, Spirit of life and love, dear God of all nations, there is so much work to do. We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Help us hold fast to our vision of what can be. May we see hope in our history and find the courage to voice the truth and that constant rebirth of freedom and justice. That is our dream. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen.